In this video, I'm going to show you how to change the spark plugs on the VTR250. Make sure your engine has cooled before you start. The tools you're going to need are a plug puller, compressed air, and some grease. You'll also want to get a couple of new spark plugs. CR8EH-9, NGK are what I'm using. Okay, it's easy to locate where the spark plugs are. Just follow the two colorful cables. On my bike, they're red. On yours, they might be yellow. The first thing what we want to do is use some compressed air. Use the compressed air to blow away any bits of dirt that might have gathered around the red cords. We don't want the dirt falling in once you remove those cables, so that's what we're going to do. Next, you want to pull out the plug wires. Be careful to not damage it while you pull it out. Pull it up by the boot. Now you should be able to see the spark plug. We're going to use the compressed air again to spray out any dirt that may have fallen in, as we don't want that falling into the engine. Next, we're going to use a plug socket or a plug puller. My engine, the standard size is 16 millimeters. Some plug sockets have a magnet built in that will pull the plug out once it's unscrewed so that it won't fall in. Mine has a rubber ring inside. Whatever you do, just make sure you work it in there carefully and begin to unscrew it by twisting it counterclockwise. The universal joint on my plug puller makes it easy to get into these tight spaces. Okay, this is what your spark plug looks like when you pull it out. Let's take a look at a comparison of the new spark plug and the old plug. Obviously, the old one is quite worn and there's a lot of carbon buildup over it that prevents it from burning all the fuel efficiently. Okay, here's the new plug. Before we put it in, we're going to want to put a bit of grease on the threads. You can see that I've added a bit of grease here. And the key here is you want to tighten it with your hand before you tighten it with the wrench. And I suggest turning it once counterclockwise and then going into tightening it with your hand as far as it'll go, clockwise, and then use the wrench just to tighten the last bit up. The reason why you want to do that is because you don't want it to go into the wrong threads. You want to make sure it's threaded properly. Once you've done that, you want to make sure the cable goes back in all the way. Now let's move on to the rear spark plug. This one is a bit harder to get to, but you can do this without removing the tank. If you've got really big hands, you might not be able to reach in there, but I think most people will be able to. You want to repeat the process by spraying a bit of air, compressed air in there, shooting away any dirt. And once you pull the plug out again, you want to spray in there and blow away any dirt that may have fallen in. And again, we'll work our plug puller into that in there, work it over the plug, and carefully remove the plug. And putting it in is the same process. You may have to just load the new spark plug into the wrench if you're not able to fit your hand in. I was able to go in from the side here and thread in the new spark plug and just use the wrench just to do the last bit of tightening. Once you've done that, you want to make sure that the plug cable is back in all the way, and that's it. Let's see how she sounds. Very smooth sounding. I was getting a lot of backfire before, but it's very, very smooth. Quieter sounding too. And that's it. That's how to change the spark plugs on the VTR250.